are here with James Wyatt. Thank you for joining us. Future candidate here for our city of Homestead. Looking forward to you telling us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you have a vision for our city. But for those that haven't had a chance to get to know you yet or had the pleasure of knowing you and your family, please tell us a little bit about who James Wyatt is.
All right. Well, first off, thank you for everything y'all have done here. My name is James Wyatt. I'm a true homesteader with unparalleled 60 years of devoted service to our beloved community, making me the ideal choice for the next City of Homestead councilman. I have deep-seated roots going back to 1955 and my family legacy dating back even to the 1920s, which demonstrating an enduring connection to our city that radiates through my active participation from my graduation at Palmer Preparatory School in Cutler Bay in 1974 and my pursuit of higher education. I proudly hold an associate degree in civil engineering from Miami-Dade College and a bachelor's degree from Embry-Riddle in aviation administration and management. My remarkable 15-year career at Miami-Dade County Park and Recreation, where I served as a marina manager at Homestead Bayfront for 15 years, and even piloted the county's mosquito control helicopter for a while when I transferred and then came back. That just shows my unwavered, dedicated service to the county and the services. My devotion to my family includes my wife, Tammy.
That's awesome.
My daughter and her children, and my stepdaughter and her kids, 8 cherished grandchildren.
8, wow.
Yeah. I'm dedicated to be a full-time councilman for the city of Homestead. Now that I'm retired from last November, this is my future. This is what I want to do to make it better for those 8 grandchildren and everybody else's grandchildren and children that live here in this community. So.
That's great, James. Thanks for sharing that a little bit with us about who you are. And people need to know what you know. I mean, your family having such roots here.
We do. We go back a long time. Dad came here, and he's passed now, but he came here in 1953. He was an active P-51 pilot for the Flying Tigers in World War II. So he came here to the air base in 1953 to start rebuilding the air base and continued rebuilding it until 1991. And when he retired, he said, I'm still building that base. And that's why that base is important to this community. That base needs to be here forever. It provides a lot of jobs, a lot of incentive, and it's just great support for the community. My mother, on the other hand, was a 31-year school teacher here in Dade County, and that's why education was important to her and making sure I got all the way through. So that's where we were at.
There's a lot of history rooted in our city, right? But there's a lot of residents who look at some things in our city and they say that we need some modernization. So when we speak about that topic, I mean, in the spirit of racing, just like a car, getting modernized upgrades and different models, but still retaining its classic essence. How do you envision modernizing Homestead without sacrificing its historical charm?
How I see it, we need to prioritize our historical preservation through incentives and partnership and implementing thoughtful zoning regulations involving the community and planning decisions. We can strike a balance between the modernization and historical preservations, and we should consider designating a historical district, promoting cultural and innovative, improving infrastructure, sensibly, fostering historical tourism, and small businesses. And small businesses are very important to this town, this community, and we need to be more friendly towards businesses wanting to come in here and set up their business.
Agree, man. It's Small business is the backbone of America,
It
right?
really is.
We're actually here with Hurricane TV in Somerset Academy in Homestead, and the team's just doing a great job here. And this is a perfect example of youth programs and how we need to support more of these. And how do you see the city helping or doing a better job, or maybe under your tutelage, what would you support as far as youth programs? Because in the spirit of racing, such as a pit stop, right? How would you ensure that the youth programs that provide the necessary fuel for the next generation to take the baton per se and carry it on?
I would say, and this involves investing in our state-of-the-art facilities such as this. This is wonderful. Diversifying, expanding accessibility, accessible programs, fostering community partnerships to enhance resources and mentor, these kids and opportunities, prioritizing safety and well-being throughout, and security measures and cultural respect, and facilitating mentorship programs to provide young people with positive roles.
Awesome. I mean, this city, and as you know, most of the questions I'm asking are themed around racing. It's built around racing, but as far as community partnership goes, racing requires a team effort, right? Even though there's the individual driver coming across the finish line, but it is a team effort. So how would you drive the collaborations between the city council, local community organizations, and even itself, the city council itself?
I would initiate regular town hall meetings, open forums, where residents and organizations can voice their concerns and ideas. I'd establish a dedicated liaison within the city council to facilitate communications and coordinate efforts with these organizations. Together, I think we can identify common goals and share revenues and work towards initiatives that benefit our entire community.
Awesome. When it comes to, public financial literacy or even awareness, just as a racer needs to understand their vehicle's mechanics, how would you equip your residents with the financial tools to secure their own economic futures?
I believe that launching a financial literacy program that are easily accessible to residents of all ages. These programs can include workshops and online resources and partnerships with local financial institutions. We could also encourage our schools and incorporate financial education into their curriculum, equipping our youth with essential skills they need for secure economical future.
Awesome.
We gotta have
get yourself some water. I'll grab some too, man. We're in the backyard, remember? The only thing we're missing here is 2 ferns, right?
Yeah, like you said, it was a lot of green space here.
Oh, man. Well, big topic is Class A commercial enterprises. I mean, just like in racing, we're trying to attract top-tier sponsors. How would you bring Class A commercial enterprises to our city's proverbial track?
I would focus on improving the city's infrastructure, creating an attractive business environment. This includes streamlining permitting process, which is a nightmare over there at City Hall, offering incentives and promoting our city's strategies and location. We'll also collaborate on economical development agencies to identify industries that align with our city's strength and growth potential.
Yeah, it's necessary infrastructure and investment. When considering the balance between speed and safety in racing, where do you stand on city expansion versus preservation?
I support responsible development that respects our community character, our natural resources, and we'll carefully plan and zone for growth in the area that can accommodate it while preserving our historical and environmentally sensitive area. Keeping in mind safety and sustainability will guide our expansion efforts.
Great. I mean, our current infrastructure's condition, when you put your thoughts on that, a smooth track ensures a safe race, right? How do you propose to address the infrastructure bumps in our city that our city is facing?
You know, like everybody, you try to go somewhere and the traffic's terrible and you just drive across town and it takes 45 minutes to get from one side of town to the other. And I would work closely with state, local, and county officials to get a traffic master plan to where we can get the red lights synchronized. I'm really concerned about all these railroad gates that they're putting in up and down the busway. How much worse is it going to make it? You know, not to mention the lights, but now we're going to add a bunch of these gates. So I would work hard with the local, county, and state officials to get all this taken care of and have that smooth ride.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know, marketing our city, when we're talking about the way in which we need to be seen from the outside, right? To be a top circuit on the racing map itself, how do you plan to brand the marketing of Homestead to a wider audience than it currently is?
I'd probably develop a cohesive branding strategy that highlights the city's unique attributes. This includes promoting our historical charm, natural beauty, and business-friendly environment through digital marketing. Like these guys, they're doing a great job. Participation in trade shows, collaborating with tourism agencies. That's probably what I'd work on, and I will.
It's a great cybrarium that we have over there,
Yes.
digital as it gets, right?
It is.
As far as city amenities, just as racers need the best of facilities, what amenities do you feel our city needs to ensure our residents get a pole position in life?
You know, being a park manager for years, I've always been a very pro advocate towards green spaces. All these developments, I've spoke at the Dickinson Center and some of them about, first off, they could have said no on a lot of this development, but we've got them now. But they should have made these developers that came in here put in plenty of green spaces. We need sidewalks for the children to walk up and down on. As it is, they've got to walk in the street. They've got to ride their bicycles in the street. Green spaces and parks in our communities and our development are really important. And I think we could still achieve this, make these developers put them in these big developments before building even.
Yeah, I know a big topic that I've heard a lot about is a residential moratorium, a building moratorium per se.
Yep.
Like regulating the number of cars on the track, where do you stand on residential building limits?
I'm pro residential building moratorium, very much so. The thing is I'm not saying stop all residential building. I feel like we need single family homes with proper setbacks, sidewalks, street lights, where they can put a swimming pool in the backyard, have some green space. But what we've got right now is just, they're crammed in there. The kids don't have anywhere to go but in their bedroom to play on their phones. They need places to get out and you know, play. I'm a big advocate towards this residential building moratorium. I feel like we need more businesses, less houses right now, such as restaurants that will employ young guys and stuff and pay them decent money. We've got to get some jobs here so people aren't sitting on the turnpike for 2 hours to go to work. Bring some of those businesses from Miami and promote Homestead to get the people who have businesses in Miami to come down here so we aren't having to travel 4 hours out of your day.
We've all felt that for sure.
Oh my God.
As far as public safety, I mean, safety is paramount in racing, right? Much safer today than it was back when it you know, started and kicked off. But as our city accelerates in growth, how will you ensure that the safety gear of our community is up to par?
First off, this whole city's living in a period of our infrastructure of 15 years ago when we had 30,000 people. We're at almost 100,000 people now. We need more police. We need more. Right now, I think we got 121 police officers. The police department said we need to have about 187 officers for this community. We should have made the developers help support getting more officers, their vehicles and all that, their bulletproof vest and everything that goes along with an officer. These developers should have been help funding that. I would, ensure that basically the first responders, we need better hospitals. We got one little hospital trying to take care of 100,000 people that was built 15 years ago when we had a population of 30,000. Same thing with the infrastructure of the electric. We've got 7 or 8 linemen that work 3 shifts to take care of a population of 100,000. That needs to be 3 times that. They need to have the equipment, the high lift trucks and everything to operate in this community and take care of. So like myself, we aren't sitting in the dark many evenings because of the power going out. And the same thing goes with the sewage treatment system. We're sending 2/3 of our sewage over to Black Point, and then they deep well inject it after they, treat it 3,000 feet down the ground. We need to get our sewage plant up and going to a point that it can handle a lot more. We don't have to outsource it to someone else.
It's so true. There's a lot of eco-friendly changes going on and involving in the sport of racing, right? A lot of innovations. How would you ensure Homestead's development aligns with environmental conservation? And I'm sure you have a lot to say about that because of your background.
Well, essentially, I'd implement a sustainable building practice, promote renewable energy, adopting the solar panels, that kind of thing, and invest in green infrastructure projects like I discussed before. We need more parks, greenways, places for the children to play. We need to improve our parks. I got grandchildren that go over to Harris Field regularly and play baseball. They need to bring that place more modern. They need to have decent bleachers and the fields need to be clean and stuff. And I would be pushing, and I will be pushing to get those places cleaned up and made presentable. My God, Harris Field ought to be a focal point for this community. It's been here a long time. A lot of people use it. There needs to be money put into it and cleaned up. The high schools use it for their football team games. No, absolutely.
Well, I mean, not only is it a focal point, I think it's dead center in our city.
It
right?
is. I wish they'd have put the
heartbeat.
city hall over there where the old city hall was. 'Cause, my God, you come in on US 1, what a beautiful sight that would be.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be something great there as well.
I hope so.
As far as city revenue streams, as diversification is key in a racer's portfolio, how do you propose to diversify the city's revenue engines?
Well, it's essential for fiscal stability. I'd explore opportunities, economic development strategies, tourism, creative taxation models. Furthermore, we'd seek grants, partnership to fund projects and reduce reliance on property taxes. We're all overtaxed, we're overburdened, we're overworked, we sit in traffic all day, and the taxpayers don't need to be having to pay for some of these amenities and stuff. This needs to come from grants, and we need to get it from outside sources. I would work hard and diligently on getting that.
That's great. As far as digital transformations, the city of Homestead, I think, is house to the only cybrarium that I've ever heard of.
That's
right?
the only one I've ever heard.
One, right? In an era where even racing is digitally connected, how would you leverage technology to turbocharge the city's services and resident engagement?
I would, leveraging technology for the city services resident engagement is real crucial. I'd invest in robust digital infrastructure, enhancing online services, engaging the residents through social media and digital platform. to provide an efficient service and foster transparency.
That's great. Thank you, James. That's great. Public spaces and parks. This is probably going to be an easy one there for you, James. Racing thrives in the right environment, right? And how would you revamp our public spaces to be the ideal tracks for residents of all ages?
Like I said previously with Harris Field, for instance, that should be a showcase for this community. And there needs to be money brought in and put towards that to make it nice. We need to also have places for children to, families to walk. There'll be shade trees and picnic tables, kind of like we had at Homestead Bayfront Park when I was a manager there. It basically enhancing and ensuring a nice, safe, secure place for families to go and enjoy themselves and their children.
That's awesome. Thank you. And as far as housing and affordability goes, this is a pretty important topic to many people, whether they're on one side or the other. But every racer needs a garage. How would you ensure housing in Homestead is both affordable and of championship quality?
Well, like I said previously, I would do more single-family homes. We don't need 450 square foot houses like they're getting ready to build over near the hospital. Like the mayor said, that's more like warehousing than housing. Truly affordable housing is a priority. I'd work to promote affordable housing projects, enforce zoning policies, and support initiatives that make homeownership more accessible while maintaining high construction standards to ensure housing quality. So that's probably the gist of it.
And as far as cultural and recreational activities, racing is as much about entertainment as competition. How would you enhance the city's cultural pit stops, per se, and recreational lap times so we can keep up?
I would enhance the cultural and recreation opportunities, which would involve partnerships with local artists, organizations. We'll invest in cultural events and art programs and recreational type facilities, ensuring our residents have access to a diverse range of entertainment options. I'd love to have some more places like we used to have 48 at Homestead. It was a wonderful place, and I wish we had it today. So,
as far as our city image and reputation, racers as a whole, they aim for titles. If they're not number one, they're not done, right? How would you steer Homestead's image to be a championship city on both regional and a national circuit?
I would, steering Homestead towards a championship city is reputation involves highlighting our achievements and promoting community engagement and showcasing our success, our location, nationality, and all that. This will require dedicated market strategy and proactive engagement with media coverage and outlets, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we've got this national track here in Homestead.
It's beautiful.
And I think that we could certainly do a better job of supporting them over there to get our residents out there.
I would love to see, after a race, I've been to many of them from the very first one. And unfortunately, after the race, they send them all to the north and they don't come through the city. And it would enhance our, money stream for the city if we could get those people to come through Homestead and enjoy this community as much as we do.
There's something I found out about yesterday talking to the track over there is that every resident of the city of Homestead, you guys might not know this, but if you don't, every resident of the city of Homestead with proof of your ID gets a huge discount on a ticket purchased at any of these NASCAR events. It's kind of one of those secrets that we should certainly tell a little bit more people about.
We need to let people know that. That would get a lot more of the locals. The city also, when the city has the races, we need to be promoting that racetrack like it is ours. but you don't see any banners downtown. You go to Daytona, my God, you see checkered flags everywhere and signs and the race teams. We need to get more involved with that track. I support that track. I have from the beginning when Ralph Sanchez came into town, because I was in the aviation business, and Ralph would go out to the airport and pick up, teams that would fly in and take them over there and getting the thing promoted. And he was a wonderful person. And we need to get this city more involved. We got a beautiful racetrack. It needs to be known to our community that it's there.
And while you're on the proverbial racetrack of this candidacy and for the council seat, we need public engagement. There's no doubt of that, right? I think more people vote from the city of Homestead for American Idol than they do for our council. We can fix that, I believe. But related to public engagement and transparency, I mean, transparency ensures during fair races or during races that they're fair. But how would you champion public engagement and ensure a clear track and decision-making process?
I would establish an accessible online portal for residents to access the city information and participate in decision-making process. We need committees for that to help out the citizens. Regular town hall meetings and open forums would be nice when it's going on. We'll encourage the transparency and ensure that community voices are heard and shaping in our city's future.
And that's it, man. We're here in our community meeting, having eyes on Homestead, having a chance to meet some of the great people who put this operation together. Thank you, Somerset Academy. Thank you, Jim. Is there anything that you want to leave in closing so that the people of Homestead can hear your heart and how you have your eyes set on Homestead?
Yeah, if you want the same old Homestead, you put the same people back in. You want changes, you want a better Homestead like I do, you put me, a full-time city council person, I'm retired. It isn't like I'm dependent on this for a living. I have a pension and Social Security and all that, so it isn't like I'm out as a job, but I'm gonna do this full-time. And you also want to vote responsibly. You got some good candidates out there. I personally would like to see Sean Fletcher, Bobby Ray, and Brandy Ramirez. And you'll have a good team.
Well, thanks for sharing your heart. You've given us a lot to talk about today. I hope that the people have some great questions for you. There'll be plenty more opportunities, I'm sure, for you to meet the public and engage with them between now and the primaries and the general. And so thanks for joining us in our inaugural kickoff of Eyes on Homestead.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
To find out more about me, you can go to Wyatt for Homestead. That's FOR for homestead.com. And you can read a little more about me.
And that was Wyatt for Homestead.
That's
right.
correct.
All right, guys.
FOR.
And again, thank you, Somerset Academy. Thank you, City of Homestead. We look forward to sharing more of our future with you.